Hi everyone, Tasha here for Cat Scrappiness, and today we're going to create a fun mini Slimline birthday card. Here's a peek of the completed card, and I just love these bright colors, perfect for springtime. I'm using a piece of pattern paper from the Spring Fling paper pad, and the one I selected has this multicolor chevron design. You can use the top with all the colors or the black and white. To go along with the pretty paper, I'm using some cardstock in pink, green, mint, light pink, and white. And again, these colors are perfect for spring. I'll also be stamping a floral image from the Friendship Greeting stamp set and die cutting with the mini Slimline scalloped edge die set and the fun Happy Birthday with shadow die. I love this die set. So let's begin. I'm going to go over to my stamping tool and I'm going to stamp the same floral image 2 times. To make this easy, I cut my paper large enough so that I could stamp the floral design once, flip the paper around, and then stamp it again without having to remove or reposition my stamp. This is great to do if you're making several cards at once, or if you're making a bunch of cards for a certain holiday. I like to do this around Christmas time. It just makes it easier for me. Once I was done stamping, I did cut both of my floral images out, and then it's time to begin coloring. I wanted to use bright colors to go along with that pretty pattern paper, so I'm just using the same shades with the flowers, with the coloring that I'm doing with the flowers. So we have this pink, we have mint green, and then I also added in some shades of purple and blue. I just love how these colors look together. They look perfect for spring and summer, and they're just so bright and happy. To add in the blue color, I just went over the lightest shade with a darker tone, and then I did the same thing with the leaves. And this is how it looks when they were all colored up. For a little extra detail, I did go in with my white gel pen. I love white gel pen. And I just added a few little dots around the little flower petal areas. I think it looks great. Now it's time to go over and do our cutting. So I'm going to use the scalloped edge frame, and you can position it anywhere that you want, but since I wanted it to be mainly those bright colors, I just put it closer to the top, and you get a frame and then the inside. I'm going to go in with the darker shade of pink cardstock and do the same thing. So you're really getting 2 cards each time you make this if you use 2 pieces of paper, because you can mix and match like I'm doing with this project. For the shadow layer of the happy birthday greeting, I did use the bottom scrap piece of my pink cardstock. So this is great too, that you can just use your scraps to make those shadows and these words. So I went in with a heavier white cardstock for the happy birthday sentiment, and it just had to go through 1 time to cut out all of those letters. Now I'm going over to my paper trimmer to just cut down a piece of scrap paper to use as a base layer. I'm also using a white cardstock and my Cat Scrappiness bone folder to create a simple card base. This card base is so easy to make, and you can trim it down to any size that you want. So I'm making it just slightly bigger than my card, and then I'll start layering the cardstock and then that framed design on top. I went in with a little poker tool to just punch out all those little bits for the letters, and then I'm using some liquid adhesive for the gluing. Liquid adhesive works great for these layered sentiments. I think if you're not going to make an actual sticker or cut with adhesive already in place, liquid adhesive is the way to go. So in no time, I just went around and glued all those little letters and then added it to my pretty pink shadow layer. And to make sure it stayed in place, you just want to position it lightly so that you have it centered. And then what I do is I put a piece of paper on top of it and then just put some stamp blocks or some ink pads on top of that paper just to hold it in place. And while that's kind of drying, I move on to other parts of my card. So next I'm going in with the frame. I do the same thing. The liquid adhesive works great for this, and I'm just going to attach it to that scrap piece of paper card, kind of like a card base, but it's for the frame. And I'm just going to position it. I made it exactly the same size, but this way the frame has something to attach to. Now I'm going to use the same glue and attach the center. Do you see, when you have it cut with two different kinds of paper, you really can make two cards at the same time. And I just love how this pretty pattern looks with that pink frame. I think these colors are just, they have to be my favorite. I love all the pink colors, but these pink and green and those multi-spring colors are just so pretty. So to attach my first layer to the card base, I just went in with some glue runner. I like to use glue runner for most of my cards, but again, score tape or liquid adhesive would work as well. On top of that pretty shade of green, I went in with a light pink color. Again, I just wanted to build up layers and use a bunch of colors that kind of tied in with the colors used in that pattern paper. And I like the pink with the green shade. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks spring to me, the pink and green. And then on top of that, I went in with this pretty shade of mint. And I think the mint with the pink in between looks great because the mint with the green without that middle color was just too similar. But again, you can use any color combination that works for your project. And then I'm just positioning it as best as I can to make it centered. I don't know if you guys have trouble with layers. I think I say this in all my projects. Layering is the hardest part of card making for me. But I do my best and I try to center it as best as I can. And next I'm going to use that same glue runner to attach this center design. And this was a little easier just because it's a little bit heavier and I could just kind of put it right in the middle of that mint green card. So I think this part was pretty easy, but those first layers are kind of hard to make sure you have them lined up. So once I have it all pressed down firmly, it was time to add my happy birthday sentiment. So I used some foam tape just to make it raised up a little bit since I wanted to put those flowers that we cut out kind of underneath the happy birthday. So it's kind of, the happy birthday's above and then you can position the flowers, in the background. So I used the foam tape and I'm just going to put this greeting right in the center. And I love how that pink matches the scalloped frame. Everything kind of looks put together. And again, I love the pink color and that white lettering is so pretty. So here's my two little flowers or flower arrangements. And I'm using just some of that same glue runner to attach these flowers. But I had to kind of turn them to figure out where they would fit so that the card could sit upright without any of the petals or leaves on the bottom. So you just have to kind of work with it. You could also cut out little pieces that are going to be hidden by the happy birthday words, or you can even add more flowers. There was different designs of flower stamps in the friendship greeting stamp set, so you could really mix and match if you want to as well. For some last finishing details, I added some of these pretty yellow enamel dots, and these yellow color, it is yellow, but it's kind of like a clear yellow. You can't really see it so much on camera, but it adds just the right amount of yellow to the center of the flowers and to dot the eye. So here's my completed card and here's my first sample card. The shades of pink are a little bit different, but the colors are pretty close to being similar. I hope you guys enjoyed today's project and are inspired to create some fun mini Slimline birthday cards. These would also be great for Mother's Day or just a friendly hello card. Have a great day. Bye-bye.